Today, I have the privilege of going live with Jamie Shotton. Jamie joined our private Facebook page called Restaurant Owners and Caterers Inner Circle about a month ago, and now we're going live to learn more about him. He's the executive chef and owner of numerous successful food businesses in Colorado. He owns A Perfect Bite Catering and 3 other restaurants in the surrounding areas of Colorado. And yes, he oversees all the operations for these brands. He even spends thousands of dollars on Facebook ads on a monthly basis, which I'm really excited about. If you're wondering how he's able to manage all this, stick around and hear his story. Let's see if he's live with us right now. How have you been?
Good. How you doing?
Doing well, thank you. I love that background. What is that?
That's our logo for our event center, Baldoria on the Water. That's where we do all of our events and stuff.
Awesome. So all your catering and everything.
Yes, sir.
That's awesome. So let me ask you this first. How's everything going in Colorado with COVID as far as dine-in goes? Are you guys at full capacity right now, or how's that working out?
It's up to the counties. We're in Jefferson County where all of our locations are at. We're at full capacity, but we're still at 6 feet social distancing. Come May 16th, they're going to get rid of all of that, supposedly. That's the plan. Now, they can always change that ahead of time, but the plan is May 16th, all COVID restrictions are going to go away. So,
no way, May 16th?
Yes, that'll be great.
That's my 40th birthday. What a coincidence.
Happy birthday.
Awesome. That's great for all food business owners. Finally, we're getting out there. That's awesome. So when you say you're at full capacity right now, you mean that all your tables, people are able to sit, you just have to watch out for 6 feet when you go into the bathroom and all that good stuff?
Our tables have to be 6 feet apart, so we're not actually at full capacity. Okay. We could seat more people in our restaurants. We can't right now because of the 6 foot capacity. We have to be able to have 6 feet between seating tables still.
Okay, got it. So is that nationwide? Because I heard some places are opening up May 15th is what I heard. So is this going on like in mid-May, hopefully nationwide, it's going to open up?
I think that's the plan, is that they're trying to get things opened up around the country. Now, there's places that have been open already, Texas and Florida, without the restrictions for a little bit now. But hopefully they'll start to do that across the country more and more.
Okay. So how was it overall in Colorado? Were they really strict from the beginning, or was it like on and off?
It was pretty strict at the beginning, and then, we went through the summertime last year. Fortunately, at all 3 of our restaurant locations, we had large outdoor areas. We created a large outdoor area at one of our locations in the parking lot. We were able to use those outdoor areas and to utilize the business last summer. Coming into the fall time, we did have to close back down in November. Then we opened back up in the limited capacity in January. But then quickly they came back and opened us back up to 50, 75%. So as we got along in early spring here, they have been right on with the vaccines and everything. As we get along, they're opening more and more here in Colorado. Jefferson County's been pretty well. They've communicated well with us. They've told us what we can do, what we can't do. We've been very diligent of following the rules and making sure that people are comfortable. We've really had no issues with the COVID thing besides the capacity.
Got it. You know what I'm wondering? A lot of people like yourself probably spent thousands of dollars creating this beautiful outdoor spaces. What do you think is going to happen when everything, goes back to normal? Do you think the city is going to allow you to keep that outdoor space, or what do you think? Have they said anything about that?
At 2 of our locations, we created permanent outdoor spaces where we're able to keep those no matter what. At one of our locations, it's in the parking lot. Our understanding is that they're going to work with us and let us keep that for the time being. Our landlord of the building is willing to let us keep it. So we have concerts and stuff out there, and we have some good seating underneath it. It's a 20 by 40 tent. It's good for us, and we think that we'll be able to utilize it for a few years. So
That's awesome because visibility is huge, when it comes to restaurant and having that outdoor space. And because of COVID, you guys got pushed to create that outdoor space, especially for those two other restaurants you mentioned. That's going to bring in a lot more money to the bottom line, right?
of course, and outdoor spaces, especially in Colorado, where it doesn't get too humid and too hot, is always a great thing to have. But the perception is not going to go away. People, excuse me, people are still going to want to sit outside, regardless of the vaccines, regardless if it's over. There's a lot of people that are still going to want to sit outside and not sit inside. So we kept that in mind when we created these permanent spaces. We kept that in mind when we put the tent up in the parking lot. This is not going to go away per se in the minds of the consumers. So we have to be conscious of that.
Exactly. That's awesome. That's awesome. I would love to see some pictures. Did you post some pictures of your outdoor spaces? Because everybody's getting so creative, and I would love for people in our private Facebook group especially get some ideas from what you have done.
Sure, I can post some stuff up there. We just finished one of our locations. We were kind of putting some stuff up and some lights and stuff. We just finished that, and I could post some pictures of that. We expanded another space, and I could take some pictures of that. The tent that we just re-put it up. In Colorado, we have crazy weather, so we just had a couple of snowstorms.
Oh, wow.
We had to take the tent down, and then we just put it back up. So I'll take some pictures, and I'll put it back up on the group. Sure.
Wow, that would be awesome. There's snowstorm right now. How late does the winter last over there?
It just depends. We get snow all the way up to Memorial Day sometimes. So,
wow.
Yeah, we got probably 6 to 8 inches last week.
Wow, that must be hard on you guys. Well, good luck fighting snow.
Yeah.
So tell me, how did you get into the food business?
So I've always wanted to cook. I cooked with my mom growing up. I cooked for my brothers. I cooked dinner once a week. I got out of high school, and I like cooking, so I got a job cooking, and I figured that I could get a job anywhere. I could go to any city in the world, pretty much in the country, and there's restaurants everywhere. So I just applied and got a job and started learning how to cook.
Nice. So you started like in teenage years cooking for your mom?
Yeah. I was cooking dinner for my brothers and my mom, and she kind of taught me a little bit about cooking. It wasn't elaborate or anything like that, but it's just the basics and and whatnot, and how to cook food that's edible and for dinner. And my mom's a pretty good cook, and it grew from there. And I thought, I'm pretty good at this, and I could learn, and it turned into a career. So it was great.
Nice. So you basically learned from experience after high school. You just went and worked for a restaurant. Is that what happened?
Yeah, I went to work for a couple of bigger restaurants, corporate restaurants, the Olive Garden, and a couple here in Denver. I got kind of my break when I worked for a company, the Brinker International. They own Chili's and Maggiano's. They had a concept back in the 90s, early 90s, called Grady's American Grill. And I went to work for them as a prep cook, making $6 an hour. And quickly I learned how to prep, and they put me on the line. I took my self-initiative to learn the other positions on the line. Within a year, I was assistant kitchen manager. Just really kind of progressed my career at a young age. By the age of 23, I was working for them and going around the country and opening restaurants for them.
Wow.
It was a very, very good experience for me to know how to open a restaurant, how to hire, how to the corporate world with percentages and recipes and just all. How did
you become an assistant manager, or what, within a year?
Just a lot of dedication and paying attention. I wanted to learn. I was working on one station, and when I wasn't busy, I was looking at the next guy and looking at what he was doing and asking him questions and helping him out. and then the same thing down the line. I had done some of this stuff before with my family and cooked on the grill and stuff like that. So I kind of knew how to grill meats and whatnot. So when it came to the grill, I knew some of the basics already, and just putting what they wanted us to do and how to cook things, and it really just taught me a lot about cooking in general. That job that I had,
That's awesome.
it was great. Yeah.
You didn't even think about going to culinary school, because I love that. Some people think they have to go to culinary school. I mean, it's great for the people that want to do that, but I think jumping in and working at a restaurant, you're going to get so much more out of going to culinary school and spending all that time. And I mean, I guess it depends what you want to do, right? You kind of knew you wanted to like own your own business one day. I guess if you want to be like an executive chef and like just work for someone, then definitely going to school would be a better route, right? What do you think?
Yeah, if you have in mind that you want to be a executive chef and you want to do fine dining, or you have a plan that you want to do something in that type of sector in our industry, the culinary school is probably something that you should look into. I would suggest that you go get a job in a restaurant first before you go to school, just because there's a lot of glamorization, a lot of romanticism about restaurant work and kitchen work. People are, oh, you're a chef, it must be fun. It's a job, and it's hard. It's long hours. It's a different atmosphere in the kitchen. I would suggest going and just working at a restaurant for a little while before you try to go to school. But culinary school is good for people that want to learn those techniques and that type of atmosphere, and you get what you put into it. I'll just say that.
Awesome. So tell me, how did you get into like buying your first business? How did that transaction happen?
We started off with our catering company, off-premise catering company, me and my wife. We met at a bigger catering company here in town in Denver, and it was the most practical, it was the most reasonable thing to do. It was low overhead. It didn't cost a lot. We started off in a commissary with other food trucks, paying per hour for kitchen use. Quickly, we became very busy, and we moved into a commercial kitchen in East Denver, 1,200 square feet, and we were packed in there for 3 years. In our fourth year in business, we did $1 million in food sales without a bricks and mortar. We just keep pushing and pushing and pushing with our catering company, and that's how we started in the business. We got our venue I was working for a gentleman that's an investor. I was private chefing for him for a while, and he helped us purchase Baldor in the Water and renovate it. And we've had that property since 2012. So we're kind of in the catering and event business first, and that's our bread and butter. I've always wanted to own restaurants, and we saw an opportunity to open a restaurant right down the street from our event center. The area we're in was missing a neighborhood pub, a Colorado-based neighborhood pub, and that's what we wanted to do. And that was our first restaurant, and we opened it on our own pretty much, and it's been 7 years, and it's still going, and it's our baby. So
That's awesome. I love how you said that, because that's what I always advise people that want to open up a restaurant is start a catering business. Start a catering business and slowly build your brand and do exactly what you did. Opportunities will open up, maybe close to wherever your commercial kitchen, like in your case. That's awesome that you mentioned that, because like you said, small overhead, low risk.
yes.
Test your concept. How about your concept? How did you come up with your concept? You said a pub because you saw that the area was missing that, and then you create. What about like the food concept? Was it something like, did you just start picking your top favorite catered dishes? Did you kind of slowly start with that, or how did you come up with the concept?
We did. I had some dishes in mind. It's interesting because we had a menu in mind, and we kind of put together, and we kind of based it off of a lot of popular items that we've seen at other restaurants and in other popular places and stuff. And then we kind of added some other popular catering items in there. But to tell you the truth, in the first month, we quickly realized what the demographics around us, what the people in the customer bases wanted. And we took about 25% of what we had on the menu and took it off and replaced it after the first 30 days. I thought that, I was thinking an upper scale pub, we're going to do this type of, for example, we had a pan-seared cod with a smoked mozzarella and jalapeno cream sauce. And it came with some mashed potatoes. And I'm like, this is like, kind of a fancier version of fish and chips, kind of. And people ordered it or they saw it on the menu like, where's fish and chips? This is the bars. We got all these great Colorado craft beers and, burgers and wings. And we specialize in smoked wings. We had a big smoker in our restaurant. And they're like, where's our fish and chips? So there's always things that are going to be misses and stuff. And it's not necessarily what you think is going to be winners. And you really have to think about what your customers want and really listen to what your customer base wants, because they're the ones that are buying it, and those are the ones that are coming through the door. So we really just kind of adapted after the first 30 days, and we still have we call it upper scale pub food. A lot of it's from scratch. It's not totally from scratch, but it's better than your typical pub food. We make our own salsas. We smoke a lot of our own meats. We braise our own corned beef. Our Reubens are really good. People talk about our Reubens a lot. Our smoked wings are awesome. So yeah, it's the menus are tricky things, and you really have to listen to your clientele.
That's awesome. You said that. So basically, going in your mind, you're thinking upper end style pub dishes, and then quickly you realize, but 30 days is pretty amazing that you guys figured out in that short of a period. That means you guys were really paying attention. And since you guys are there, you noticed, and in 30 days, you changed the whole concept. And I bet you anything, if you wouldn't have done that, you wouldn't have been successful with that business right there.
Yeah, you're correct. And the reason it was so quick is that me and my wife were there every single day, walking around talking to every single table that was there and asking them, what do you guys think? What do you think about the menu? Not just the items that you ordered. What do you think about the rest of the menu? Would you come back? What would you order? And so we sat there and talked to people for 5 to 7 minutes every single day. And we heard the same things every day. So that's why we changed.
That's awesome. That's awesome. What I did with our little New York style family deli we had that I sold 3 years ago, when I first started out, I knew something had to change. There was something missing in the area. There was no Mediterranean food. Everything was fast food, this and that. So I started going to the most popular restaurants in the surrounding area, and I started picking out their top favorite dish. And one strategy how you can do that? Go to their Google My Business page and look and see what in the reviews. There's a part that says, okay, this is what people are talking about the most. And right there, you can get a good idea of what that restaurant specializes in. And all I did is I brought that in, and I'm not a chef, I'm a marketer. So I brought it in, and our cook, and I said, look, we're going to figure this out. We're going to figure out how to make this. Like one of them was pesto cavatappi. It was basically Alfredo sauce mixed with pesto sauce. So simple. We had the pesto sauce and Alfredo, but we never mixed it together. And then we mixed it together and we called it Heavenly Creamy Pesto. And it was my top catering dish. People loved it. And what our trick was, we added extra cheese and garlic to give that extra flavor. Like if I would have done that in Italy, they would cut off my hand. They don't believe they don't believe in mixing and this is just a little bit of this, little bit of that. But you know how we are. We just love flavor, full of cheese and flavor. And that's what we did. So that's cool you kind of went it at a different angle. You started listening to your clients and we just jumped and I just we got to do something, and that's what we did. That's awesome. So how do you manage running your 3 restaurants in a catering business? I'm sure you have managers, but you use a software or how do you manage all of this?
It's really just old school. We're in the restaurants a lot, me and my wife. I go around a lot and talk to the managers. I text a lot. We have phone calls a lot. but we have a bi-monthly meeting. We meet every other Wednesday with all the general managers and kitchen managers. We do go over a lot of issues, excuse me, that we have on those Wednesdays. But it's just a lot of communication, being honest with people and being communicative. As far as the catering company and the event center, we have, when we're busy, we have weekly kitchen meetings and sales meetings with the event planners in the kitchen, and we go over events in detail. And it's a lot of preparation on the catering and event side. We prepare a lot beforehand on the events, and we have a staff in the kitchen, we have the staff in the front of the house, and it's very well put together and organized. So it's a lot of oversight at the catering companies. At the restaurants, it's more fluid. It's more. It's hard to not make it feel like you're micromanaging people when you're always communicating with people. So I try not to let the little minutiae get in the way. You have to be very forgiving and understand that you hired the right people to do the right things, and you don't have to tell them every second of the day what to do. There are things that you want to communicate and just make sure that we're all on the same page and we fix or do better. But it's just a lot of communication and making sure that we're there to support them and help them with whatever they need. A lot of times it's them asking me for things, equipment, what should we do here? How should we do this? And it's gotten better over time, because the more time that my managers spend with me, the more that they know how I feel and how I think. So I'm lucky that I have 3 general managers at the restaurant, one in each of the restaurants, that really, really, really are like me. They know how I think, and they manage that way. So there's not a lot that it's just reaffirming pretty much. They'll know what to do, but they ask me, say, hey, should we do this? I'm like, yeah, we should do that. And they're like, I knew to do that, but I just wanted to ask you. So
that's awesome.
Like it's hiring the right people.
That what you said is key, communication. And what I love about what you said is that you guys have a weekly meeting on Wednesdays. How do you make sure that this weekly meeting stays important? Because I remember I tried doing that and we got off track, and it was like a couple of months we didn't have meetings. But like you said, it's very important to communicate. Is there a strategy or a way that you make sure that you let them know how important these weekly meetings are, so they show up and they're happy to be there?
I think that a couple of things. I write an outline for the meetings every time, and I give them a copy of it so they can follow along on the outlines. The other thing is that I kind of ask them a lot of the times to do something for the meeting. Either bring a product mix for this day, or bring this, or look into this and research that, or bring this. I ask them to do some homework for the meetings, so they have something invested when they come that they can talk about. We are coming out of all this lockdown of the last year and everything else. There's going to be some more competitiveness between restaurants. We're starting some competitions between food costs and labor costs between the locations. Just friendly competitions, and
that's great
to get them motivated to do more.
Keep them on their toes.
Yes.
Nice. That's awesome. That's an awesome strategy. Homework, that's something that I didn't think about. Coming up, I would always try to come up with, food items or new recipes, but having different kind of homework is key, like how to deal with employees, because they're dealing with everything when you're not there, right?
Yep. Yep.
You guys meet in person, or do you guys do Zoom? What do you think?
We meet in person. And we go over things. It takes about 45 minutes to an hour. Sometimes, like the homework thing, I ask them we come up with a summer menu. We come up with a holiday menu. I say, you need to come up with 2 items. Bring 2 items to the menu. to the meeting.
Nice.
And it brings something to the table for them.
Yeah. Are you guys gonna do anything for like Mother's Day? Do you have any kind of special for your restaurant and then the catering side of it?
So we just do brunch basically for the Mother's Day. Um, we typically don't do anything special. We're still busy on those days, and we don't necessarily want to do anything that's out of the box on Mother's Day. It's worked well in the past for us, and we just stick with it. For the catering company, we were the exclusive caterer for another event center for a long time, and we used to sell out a Mother's Day, and it's something that we have decided as a company that wasn't something that we would like to do. Um, it's something that maybe if we were a smaller company or if we were a newer company that we would to get our name out there, we would do something like that. Uh, the risk reward on a buffet, the Mother's Day buffet, is just is not for us. I'll just put it that way.
Got it. So you guys are already busy on Sundays. So you do have a Sunday brunch. That's a great idea.
At the restaurants, we do. We have brunch every Sunday at all three locations, and we're busy. We don't have to do anything special. They come in, and we do. We are busy at all three locations on Mother's Day. So,
Okay, awesome. So when you weren't busy, when you were starting out, how would you promote yourself? Do you remember? For like Mother's Day?
yeah, we would just promote that we're open for brunch and come on in, and it's just the basic same promotions that we would do before. We didn't really do anything special. We had tried it before. I think we tried a brunch a couple times the first couple years, and it really didn't pan out. So we just stopped doing it, or a buffet. I think we tried to do, and then we just stick to the plated brunch, the menu brunch.
Got it. Got it. So since you have all this experience with dealing with employees, I have this question for you. How did you find that effective way to hire a rock star employee? Do you have any strategy you use? For example, I hear some people, they do like group interviews to get people to see like who is more shy, who is more outgoing, to figure things like that. Do you guys have any strategies when you hire employees?
So when we hire employees, it's hard to. It's changed in the last 20 years. It's changed to hire employees. I'll look at a resume and I'll look at their experience, but the bigger thing is when we interview them. I'll explain to them, our history as a company and how we got to where we are, and what type of restaurant we are, what type of family restaurant we are, what type of family that me and my wife have. We set out expectations. I lay out what the expectations of the job are and the expectations of the restaurant and what we want to see out of our employees. We want people to put their best foot forward. We've been very honest in our interviewing process. I've not perfected it, but I've really streamlined it over the years to really cut down to the brass tacks and just see people's reactions when we tell them, this is the expectations. We're going to hold you accountable. If you get hired, you're going to go through a training process. This is what's going to happen. You're going to be expected to it's a service sequence of service. The client comes in, they get sat. Here's what happens. You're going to go to the table. You're going to introduce yourself. You're going to do this, A, B, and C. We lay it out. These are the expectations of the service. And you're going to be held accountable for it. And we're not gonna settle for mediocrity. And we tell them that in the interview. The other thing is that we hire people. We're not gun shy about just not hiring people. We'll hire people and then we'll put them through the ropes. We'll put them through the training. And the good thing is that we've told our staff, and our staff understands that when we have new hires, it's to their benefit to train them and really put them through the expectations that we have as a company. because if the people training them don't hold them accountable from the get-go, then they're not going to be a good, solid link in the chain to our team. You know, it's to the crew's benefit that when we bring somebody in, that they train them to be the best that they can be. Because if not, they're gonna bring the team down. They're gonna bring the crew down.
That's a good way. That's a good way to put it. Do you guys have like a probation period? Or I feel like when you have, there's two parts of this. I feel like if you have a probation period and you tell them, look, there's a probation period of 2 weeks. I feel like maybe it's not 2 weeks. They're going to work extra hard. They're going to show this. And then they'll be like, okay, I passed the probation. Now I can just cruise. You know what I mean?
We really don't have a verbal probation period, but it's about 3 weeks. It's about 3 weeks. And after that, you really kind of see if they're going to make it or not. Because you give people about 3 weeks. They want to impress you in the first 3 weeks. And then after that, you kind of see where they're going to be. And it's nothing personal. Sometimes it's just not a good fit. These people are good people, you know, but sometimes it's just not a good fit for our company or our restaurant. So exactly. we've been through people, but our first restaurant, West Trail, has a very good core in the front. 85% of the staff that's in the front at West Trail have been there for 5+ years, and we've been open for 7 years. And we are trying to emulate that and copy that at the other restaurants. And I just believe that that's the best way to go. And kudos to a couple of managers that helped create all that over there. But it works well, because the longer you can retain these people, the better service and just the better experience you're going to give. So
nice. You know what I noticed when I was running? I had about 8 to 9 employees. Something I noticed after a few years is when I started getting personal with my employees and really knowing about them and about their families, I noticed they hang around longer, 3, 4 years. And then I started thinking, I'm like, why is it that these certain employees have been with me? And then I realized it's because I know everything about their family. You know, the corporate world, they're like, no, you can't have that personal relationship. But having a small business, that's what really helps you grow. Because when, for example, my employee would call in and say, look, my mom is sick in the hospital, I'm not going to have an ounce of doubt in my mind that she partied last night and she's hungover right now, because I knew that her mom was sick. So you know what I mean? So what do you feel about that? Do you get personal with your employees, and have you seen that help?
It's hard sometimes when you first open a business, or you first hire people, because you're not for sure if they're going to, be around and this and that and the other. And it's hard to build those type of relationships right off the bat. But yes, eventually, when somebody's been there for a while, you start to build those relationships, and that's what does help keep people around. It helps solidify. We want them to take some sort of ownership in their position, whether it's a hostess or a server or bartender or cook or kitchen manager or general manager. We want them to take some sort of ownership in what they're doing and be proud of it. And it takes a lot. It takes, monetary rewards. It takes, verbal rewards. It takes a lot for people to feel that. And you have to be conscious of that as an owner and really work at it. But yes, we do. We work at that with some of our employees that have been there for a while. Yes.
Awesome. Yeah, because then they care more. When they see you care more, they care more. For example, like if they didn't make enough money because business was slow that month, they couldn't make rent, I would front their paycheck. I would give them an advance. I would be happy to give them advance because I could trust them, and then, like you said, they have to be around for a few months. But I feel like early on, if you get close to your employees, in the long run, it will help you tremendously.
I agree.
To build that trust and relationship. Awesome.